Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are doing one more Merfolk's video. I usually stop at number 6. I am doing a 7th one here on the Merfolk Commanders because they have some interesting ones. So what are we covering? What I'm covering, I'm calling the exemplars. So they're creature types that have a really high affinity for a particular color. I'm going for black, rat, red, goblin, green, elf, blue, merfolk, so we are on merfolk, and white leonin. I've done rat and goblin already, so this is kind of like about the halfway point in the series. Okay, their main color is blue. I think secondary color is green, and then maybe white after that, but primarily blue. Their main strategies are counters, again like +1/+1 counters, card draw, bounce, tap and untap. I've done a video on each one of those mechanics already, so yeah. Again, this is the 7th video looking at Merfolk Commanders, some very interesting ones. Yeah, so here we go. And when I say budget, I mean $2 or less according to TCG market value. Not a sponsor, not one bit. Galactos, Crafter of Wonders. Okay, so this is an Is-It commander. So 1 blue, red. And you can add 2 colors. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. So having commander that's a mana rock is actually really good. Especially if he makes 2 colorless. If you're building an artifact deck around him, that's a lot, right? Equipped creatures you control have flying and haste. So yeah, you want to build around equipment and artifacts with him. I guess artifact creatures and equipment, but yeah. So he's a low cost that can start being used quickly as a mana dork, right? At 3 mana, probably on turn 2, you can bring him out and start tapping him just for mana, right? I think that's one problem some commanders have, is that they don't transition well between different phases of the game, and he's going to always have something to do. Even late game, just him being on the board is really good. In earlier game, you're using him for mana, probably. Anyway, yeah, adding extra effects to equipment is very powerful. Equipment is really strong already. Being like all equipped creatures get even more bonuses is pretty incredible. Especially flying, like that evasion is kind of nuts. Anyway, 18 cents. Vodalian Wave Knight. I actually really like this one. I think he might seem a little overly simple at first, but yeah, you can build around him really well. So build around merfolk and or knights. So knights offer a lot of combat and equipment synergy, while merfolk can be used for synergy and gap fill needed in the deck. So yeah, things like card draw, merfolk are really good at, and then the combat, the knights are really good at. So between the two of them, I think you can make a really strong combination. So yeah, and whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on each knight and merfolk and or merfolk you control. So you're gonna also have that +1/+1 synergy, which again with white is quite good, right? You can get a lot of bonus effects that will improve all of your creatures that have +1/+1 counters on them. So yeah. Anyway, 32 cents. Alandra Sky Dreamer. I think this is becoming one of my pet cards very quickly. So basically she is a merfolk, but she's really focused on Drake kindred. So if you can get more drakes, the better. So whenever you draw your second card, each turn, create a 2/2 Drake creature token with flying. So, what is it called? Talrand. I always want to call him Tarland, and yeah, I don't know how I got that in my head, but Talrand, every time you cast an instant or sorcery, you make a 2/2 Drake, really strong, and she's just every time you draw your second card, you're making the same thing. So putting them both together is a very good idea. Her second ability is what really sets her apart though. Whenever you draw your 5th card each turn, Alandra Sky Dreamer and Drakes you control get plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. That can be so much, like, even if you've drawn 5 cards, you're going to have minimum 5, probably more than that. So yeah, that kind of bonus to like damage just for doing something else you want to do anyway is huge, especially if you can get a good number of drakes out on the battlefield. It can pretty easily turn into a win con there. Anyway, 49 cents. Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep. Alright, so, yeah. Anyway, I put there, she is not a sovereign citizen. That's a joke, but anyway. Alright. Able to get a lot of big creatures out fast. So this is probably what she's best at. She has 3 and Simic, so green-blue. Vigilance, Ward 3. I always say about Ward, it's like, yeah, it's flawed, but it's still better than nothing, you know? Like, I think Ward gets a lot of hate, but like, really, I'd rather have it than not have it. Like, it doesn't protect against everything, granted, but it's still pretty useful. Anyway, whenever you cast a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent spell from your hand, look at the top X cards of your library where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with a mana value at less than X from among them without paying its mana cost. Put the rest of them bottom of your library in a random order. So I put this as upgraded Discover. This is really upgraded Cascade because it does have to be lower, but yeah. Just the fact that you actually get to draw, look at all of these cards and choose one. It's not just the next one like Cascade would do. You get to choose one. That's a big upgrade, right? Especially with these. These are going to be very large things. I think it's quite easy to like build decks around them as well. There's a lot of good budget options. I know for Kraken and Leviathan sure do. I would probably have to look more into Octopus and Serpent, but anyway. Just the fact that every time you're casting a spell, you're probably getting another one out, and they're going to be big, right? You can get these big things out just over and over and over. It's a pretty scary combination. Alright, 88 cents. Kumena, Tyrant of Orzaka. So, I did a budget deck on this recently. I'll try to put a little card up in the corner. It should be above my head. And yeah, sometimes the cards don't want to work though, but anywho. This is like really kind of the prime Merfolk Commander, I think. So yeah, basically he has 1 and Simic, so green-blue. And you can tap other Merfolk to activate a whole bunch of different abilities. 1 to make him unblockable, making commander damage easy. Tap 3 to draw a card. Tap 5 to put a +1/+1 counter on all of your other Merfolk. Oh, on each Merfolk you control, not on all other Merfolk, sorry. Yeah, so he's, I think, very, very good. I would check out that budget deck, because that's one, again, if I was in North America, I would definitely order that one. Anywho, 49 cents. The List. Galactos, Crafter of Wonders, 18 cents. Vodalian Wave Knight, 32 cents. Elandra Sky Dreamer is 49 cents. Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, 88 cents. And finally, Kumena, Tyrant of Orzaka is 49 cents. Yeah, these, I think any of these are very different and all very, very good in their own way. I think I would love to build a Kiora deck next, but anyway, take it easy.